Here we go. We are now live in Rebels and Rule Breakers. Good evening, you wonderful rebels. This has been the long-awaited, much-anticipated, build him up audience with Jack Horner / Leon the Pig Farmer / Simon, I found out the other weekend.
Yeah.
The man of many, many names. I can already see a comment that says, oi, oi, I think we know who that's going to be. Welcome, MK. We have got 3 people live already. This is a
Whoa, let's get it up.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Come on. More people. So, hi, Nadia. So, remember, guys, if you are new to this or you haven't given permissions previously for StreamYard, if you comment, we can't see who you are unless you get those permissions. It doesn't come up with your name or profile picture. So if you want us to see who you are, either comment, put your name on each comment, or just give StreamYard permissions, and we'll see what you're talking about. If you're here on replay, also feel free to comment, because we definitely want to keep that interaction going. So I am extremely pleased and excited, and I know all the Master Rebels have been very excited, and so have large proportions of our growing community, to have our wonderful Jack Horner online right now to talk to. Yay! So where do we start?
Amazed. Where do you want to start?
There's so much we can go at here.
I know, go for wherever you want.
When we had a chat about this a few weeks ago, and that time's flown, I know we said we wished, we recorded it actually, because we just meant to have a one-to-one chat, didn't we? But there was so much stuff we got out of that conversation, so we've got to try and recapture some of that magic.
Yeah.
So let's start at a logical place, and that is, tell us a bit about you, your story, where you've come to, or how you've come to be where you are, and for the new members or people who perhaps haven't encountered you before, who are you? What do you do? What are you all about?
Well, I'm Jack Horner. That's the name I go by, apart from a driving license, passport, birth certificate, and any official bills. Unfortunately, the name Simon still sits on them, which was a name given to me by my long departed legitimate father. Don't get sad, anyone. When I say long departed, he fucking ran off at 7, which I talk about in poems. So don't.
And the word legitimate may not be.
Yeah. So it was a name that my biological father gave to me, so I don't use it anymore. I use Jack because it was a name when I left home and got independence, that was given to me when I joined the army at 17. As my surname is Horner, Little Jack Horner, and it stuck. My mum or my family call me Jack. Everyone has done now for 30 or where are we now? I'm 50, so 33 years. So it's a quarter of a century I've been called Jack, and Simon, apart from on official documents, doesn't exist really. I joined the army at 17. I left at 28, 29, 10 years after serving a lot of time in Ireland, seeing a lot of bombs and mortars and things. I've done a lot of time in Africa doing close protection for the British Army, where I worked in Rwanda, Angola for British Foreign Office, and did role protection in Germany, where things obviously happen. So I wasn't shy of shoving myself in the deep end. And I left there. And then 22 years on, I had a breakdown 2 years ago in February, where I was diagnosed with PTSD. Woke up in a police cell after a drinking binge. Didn't know what was going on in my life. I was a binge drinker. I had toxic relationships in my life. Over the last 5 years that built up to that, I'd realised now that I'd disassociated from family, and I really wasn't living a healthy lifestyle. I was chucking myself into work too much, working long hours. I'd started having grinding teeth, biting inside my cheeks, twitching, shoulder aches, nauseous a lot of time, and really having bad panic and anxiety attacks. So 9th of May, I woke up in a police cell in Manchester. I hadn't done anything to anyone. I hadn't done anything wrong. The only person I hurt was myself. And I walked out there totally ashamed and shoved myself in bed for 12 hours in it about depression, as I probably thought of it as, and came out the other side feeling a bit of a suicidal wreck and a mess. I was estranged. Well, I say estranged. My partner and future wife now was back in Japan, so I was kind of like quite isolated. I'd planned to go there, so I went to the doctors and started crying. I just burst into a fetal position. There's a 48-year-old man who's a stoic northern ex-squaddy working class council estate lad. That was quite scary. It really was. But it was awakening, and I now feed off it rather than running away from it. And the nurse said, get out, start walking. I live near Saddleworth Moor, so I just started trudging up and down hills in total military style. And when I was up there, after a few weeks and the word started unraveling and the anxiety and the intrusions started reducing, I started just thinking positively and with anger as well. And I started writing it all down and kept a journal. And that then became what is now my spoken word. And a couple of months after that, we're talking the summer, I started doing spoken word nights. I got invited along. And then Leon the Pig Farmer was born. He came after I got loads of good feedback from doing open mic around my spoken word poetry. And then I got invited along to a festival stage. And from that moment on, at the end of July 2019, I seem to have gone on this ridiculous trajectory of performance poetry, meeting lots of brilliant and beautiful people along the way, still self-healing, always writing, cutting. I was abstinent for almost, apart from the odd little festival. I just gave up booze for ages and just eat want my friend. And I still don't really. I have a few now and then, but I've not been pissed or like I used to be. It was one of those, I'd go out and drink 15 plus pints. It was just, it was all dayers. Come Thursday, Friday, I'd just smash it till Sunday night, and I don't anymore. And I wake up feeling fresh as a daisy, creative writing. And then after that, this year, when I couldn't perform, I wrote a book and I started doing charity work, just helping out and trying to give my story of how I went from being a ball and a mess into someone who now smiles and is happy all the time, still has his panic attacks, but knows when the trigger comes out to deal with them and to blow it down straight away and bounce back. So it was supposed to be in a nutshell. That's in a bag of nuts.
That's a beautiful nutshell, because I'm absolutely sure there's a whole load of stuff packed into that condensed version that is, you know, we're never going to fit in, but it's absolutely fascinating. And what a blooming story. It's quite clearly hit home for people. We've got some good comments. Kirk's tuned in, game on. Nadia is saying that they write poetry, in their journal. Someone, I don't know who it is, has asked, have you met the Queen? I'm quite sure what that's about.
No, but I was Royal Protection Squad for her deceased
husband
back in 1994, just after Princess Diana, and a couple of others, the Duchess of Gloucester and a few others that I'd done. So I have been part of his Royal Protection Squad in Germany, Mönchengladbach, when he came over. So I've not met the Queen, but the Duke of Edinburgh, yeah.
Yeah, wow. And then a very important question, but why the pig farmer? Are you a farmer of pigs? Somebody has written. Again, can't see your name, whoever you are, lovely person. Let us know who you were. I think it was MK that asked about the Queen.
Yeah. No, I've met a couple of members of royalty, but it was mostly diplomatic protection that I did. Right. But I know I've never farmed pigs. Never killed a pig. I don't even eat them now. I don't do anything. My estranged father's family were cattle farmers, believe it or not. Maybe that's why, because it was just like, nah, fuck you with your cattle. I'm going to go for pigs.
Pigs,
I don't know. But no, the name comes from a 1992 film where a Jewish guy inherits a pig farm in Yorkshire. It's a very good film. If anyone's not seen it, it's one of them dark comedies. Literally,
concept in itself.
Babies got swapped at birth by accident, and it turns out that he inherited a pig farm. And to me, the life that I've led, swimming against the tide and treading water, not fitting into the circumstances that you've been given, and I guess that being a Jewish guy inheriting a pig farm must be very similar and have very conflicting ethics to what I've done, like working in the army. We've been quite a liberalist and socialist and them kind of views. To work in that and then further employment afterwards, where I was sort of seen as someone that's liberal and lefty and didn't agree with their points of view. So yeah, being a Jewish guy owning and inheriting a pig farm must be quite similar, with very conflict of interest. So I think that's the name, but it is also a name that a good friend of mine in the army, Jason, who's still in, he used once when we were out chatting to people, and to obviously operational safety in the army was paramount, and he told someone his name was Leon once, and with a West Country accent coming from Weston-super-Mare, he told everyone he farmed pigs. So that was in 1993 after the film. So I don't know if I've never asked him yet, is it to do with the film? Is that why he said it? But he did, and it's an ode to him in the military. It's multifaceted. There's a lot of reasons behind it. But yeah, someone asked me once as a promoter, have you got a name to put on a poster? And I said, yeah, Leon the Pig Farmer. It just kept rolling off my tongue straight away instinctively. So I've run with it.
Oh, I love that. That's just brilliant. It's so cool. I love the I love your merch logos and everything with the LPF and the
I wanted something that was simple, but it kind of gave the message. And I thought there's nothing better than the LPG explosive warning gas canisters. Than it's just quite simple. And the warning sign in the gas canister, because I am explosive, it can be dangerous. There's trigger warnings. It needs to be sensitized. That you are going to hear stuff that some people aren't going to like, whether it be the expletives that I use to punctuate or accentuate, not through lack of grammar.
You've got an extremely good vocab, so it's absolutely, it definitely accentuates.
Yeah, I counterbalance the odd spit of swearing with a decent extensive bit of vocabulary, and so yeah, it's one of those. It's the yin and yang. There's good stuff, but yeah, it can be quite dangerous. It's been called a belt-fed mortar and staccato bursts, and I don't hold back.
Oh, God, look at those beautiful words. Now, you're saying what a great smile you have, Jack. That's nice, isn't it?
Cheers.
And also, someone, again, can't see your name or photo, whoever this is, but says, I would like to ask Jack, when did he write his first poem?
I wrote my first poem in May 2009.
Wow.
And called I'm Nuts with Guts.
It was called what? I'm
Nuts with Guts, and it's the first one that's in my book. There's the first plug. Let's get that out of the way.
That sounds powerful and quite, I would imagine, quite cathartic, was it?
Yeah, it is. It's just a very quick sort of rhymey burst one that's it's two halves. It literally says the bad part, and then it comes in the other side, which it finishes on a positive story, which is what I kind of do all the time. 8 to 10 verse. Yeah. Everything's got a story. It's beginning, middle, and end. Very quite basic story writing.
Absolutely. And this is something that I wanted us to get into, because this is part of the conversation we had the other week, wasn't it? That you have a real ability and sense of obligation in terms, or sense of responsibility probably is a better way to describe it, in terms of closing the loop on the work that you put out there.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit more about that.
Well, I don't like people hanging, and I don't like leaving people in a bad mood or feeling distressed, because that's not what life's about. I've gone through this journey, and it's more positive than it is negative. So when I write, whether it be, most is 8 verse, 4-line stanzas, but usually 10 to 12, but it depends how much information, how much waffling I've got in my head. But I try to do it like an introduction, just 1 4-liner or 2, just setting what I'm going to be on about, and then 6 or 4 just going into the story of what's in my head. And then the last paragraph or verse, whichever you want to call it, I always try and give it a positive edge. There's always a good story at the end. It's very much like the Hollywood blockbusters. Like, I mean, the good person always wins. And I really like that when I'm writing something. I don't like to finish something that life's shit, life is bad. There is bad parts to it, but the light at the end of the tunnel. will always prevail. And I like to do that when I'm telling a story, because whatever I am, once I've written it and I've come out, that's the beautiful story. There is a positive end. And when I go away and use that as therapy, I always feel better. So if I don't explain that in any form with my writing, then I've not done my job properly, and I've not told that story properly. I've left people thinking that I'm angry, I'm full of anxiety or depression or self-hurt, which I'm not. It's a condition that I have, but 80% of the time I'm happy and I feel brilliant. And when I don't, I really do find a way to overcome it. So there is a story in there every time. And I can't leave people hanging. I always want to say, look, I beat it with one. Take it. Let's run with it.
I can't tell you how much I love that. And I've thought about that concept so much since we first talked about that, you and I, and I've seen it in the book. I've seen it in your performances. And it really, really strikes a massive chord with me, because I think it is a responsibility, you know, to put your art out there, because it does trigger people in different ways, no matter what kind of art it is. And, you know, to know that people are going to be impacted by that, and being able to, you know, give them almost a resolution is incredibly important. I think what was also really powerful for me when we went, me and Dave Feathers went to your book launch, which we'll talk about more in a moment, was watching you do your thing. It was incredibly powerful. There is so much emotion and such a range of emotion in what you do, but it was incredibly uplifting. I mean, I know you were talking about some topics that were very, very, you know, traumatic, emotional, anger making, and all of those things from your experience. But wow, was it uplifting. And you have this ability, I know I said this the other week, you have this ability to, even, you know, when you're doing your videos that you drop into the group for us, it's this amazing ability that I've never seen before, that you are able to help us understand the trauma, the anger, the loneliness, the whatever else it was that you went through, and it helps us really feel it, but in a way that's incredibly safe and actually quite positive, interestingly. And I think that's one of the things that's helped me come to this concept of spoken word, where I haven't actually connected to it before. It hasn't resonated with me before. And I just think that's incredible.
Thank you.
MK is asking, have you ever tried rapping?
Yeah. It's my karaoke song. I love doing White Lines.
Brilliant.
I have met Grandmaster Flash Melly Mel as well. I've got a photograph on my phone. I'll put it in the group. I met him in Stockport at a festival 3 years ago. And I came up to him and went, all right, Melly Mel. He's like, yeah, man. Big. He's massive. And I said, I only ever do one karaoke song apart from a Johnny Cash one, and it's your song. It's White Lines. So, yeah. But some of it, if I did it I do some to a beat, and I've got some that I've got friends who do samples and musicians, and I have got some that I've done to like reggae dub, which I really love, rather than hip hop. But I do love hip hop. I grew up on hip hop. That's what I put the line when it was in the group of Don't Believe the Hype. It's a sequel. Do you know what I mean? I love Public Enemy and I love NWA. I grew up on Roxanne Shante, and if Kirk's in here, I know he's a lovely purveyor and he's brilliant with the graffiti. And I used to love train art and all that in the 80s before hip hop and grime was even trendy. I was really into it, what was going on in Queens and Brooklyn and the Bronx and stuff. And I kind of used to get some import stuff coming in. And back then it was tapes or vinyl. And I've loved hip hop for so long, which is why I think I write in 4-line stanzas, and a lot of it does rhyme. Because I do have a cadence to me of 4-bar beats, which a lot of that's the performance stuff is very much in that kind of way, that it's just 4 bang, 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 new line.
Hypnotic, isn't it? And
yeah,
that's another thing I noticed about the work that you were doing the other week at the launch, and also the other acts that you had on. It's that real, you know, you really get kind of lulled into it, and I think it just helps you. It helps you detach the kind of conscious stuff, and it just sinks in beautifully. It really does.
I think I've tried writing. I've studied a bit since I've learned different forms of poetry, like your classical styles and your traditionals, and then. But I always go back and I write in beat poetry because I've loved music since I bought my first vinyl record in about 1978, 79 when I was 7, 8 years old. And I got on the back of my mum's records. So I've always had records and music in my life constantly, day in, day out. There's never a day that I don't listen to Radio 6 or put music on. And it's in there, which is why I kind of like lyrics more than I did the spoken or written word. But that's kind of what comes across in the style that I do. It's very much more beat performance, punk poetry than it is very articulate, literacy orientated poetry. Although I do use a very extensive vocabulary and I do it, there is very much a rhythm and a beat to it. So you could transpose a lot of my stuff into rap, I reckon.
And you know, I would love to see somebody do something with your work musically that I think would be really, really interesting.
Yeah. I've got some music off a lad, which is really sort of ambient trance, which I'm working on at the moment. I've like I said, 2 lads have sent me reggae, dub kind of stuff, which I've given them music to. I've done stuff with Sachiko, and that's more psychedelic and punk guitars. But if it fits, like I always say, if someone sends me a bit of music, I've been honest, I've rejected 2 or 3 bits and gone, I can't work with that. It's just not me. It's just, I could put words to it, but it won't mean out. And if you did it, I don't like it. So I'll be honest and go, look, if it fits with the genres of music I like, or that have got that certain time of beat, I'll quite happily collaborate with people. I really will.
Keep it authentic and real to you, haven't you?
Yeah. And I won't just put words to anything because they're precious to me, the words. They've come out of me. They've come out of my soul and my heart. So if I just give it to any Tom, Dick, Harry or track, it's...
Tom, Dick, Harry or track.
Yeah. It just don't have any meaning, does it? And it's got to...
You're so right.
So,
and do you know what? I'm really happy to hear that, actually. Kirk is saying he's here and he's loving the name check and he can hear the hip-hop influence, so he's happy about that.
Yeah.
Some great questions coming through, guys. Keep asking them. So somebody, again, can't see who this is, but the question is, what's your dream? Where do you want the poetry to take you? It's a big question, isn't it?
It is. The narcissist tells me that, and the ambitiousness wants me to go big on a festival stage and let everybody hear it, wherever that may be.
It was Lisa that asked, by the way.
But I don't know where it's going to go, and I've learned in life not to put pressures on yourself and set the bar too high. I'm quite enjoying this Alice in Wonderland journey at the moment, that wherever it goes, I run with it and I go with my instincts now. I don't go where I'm told to. I don't go where I'm advised to. I go wherever the gut goes. Yeah, that'll be good. Let's have a look at that. Or, nah, I'm not feeling that. Right, I won't do it then. So I could be blocking off certain big alleyways, but that's why someone said before, I love your smile. I always have a smile on my face now because I do what I want, when I want, how I want, and not to someone else's tune or rhythm, or timing. So if it happens, it happens. I'd love to walk out with a microphone, even if it's comparing, because I've got into a little bit of that with bands and fill a stage and just talk to people. But the message is
very good at that at the book launch weekend. Very good.
Yeah, it's how many people I can get it out to. It's the message about mental health and reducing stigma and increasing awareness, which is the big one with me. It don't matter where it goes. It really doesn't. It's as reaching as many people we can, whether it be in this format digitally or whether it's face to face, whenever we can. Let's just see where it goes.
Well, me and a number of other people are saying we love the Alice in Wonderland analogy. Curiouser and curiouser.
Yeah.
Curiosity is the key, I think, isn't it? MK says Glasto.
Glasto, well, yeah, let's have the pyramid stage. Do you know what I mean? If they ask me to fucking introduce someone like Coldplay, I'll tell them to knob off and I'd go onto a stage somewhere miles away. Big Farmer, can you introduce Coldplay? No. Have you got some mad rad grime artist about 2 miles across the fields? I'll go and do him or her.
That hardly features in the lineup.
Yeah, that's it. And that's where I want to be. You know what I mean? With people, with passion, and they just love it. I'm doing a lot. I've just been asked to do one in Manchester for a mate of mine who's a promoter on July the 1st, and it's doing a couple of little sets between bands, and there's some cracking bands on, and I love that. Doing 10 little minute sets between loads of bands, and I'm doing one over Cheshire Way in Northwich in July, hopefully, if it'll go ahead, this diversion in Northwich. And I love doing things like that. Let's hope.
Yeah.
And I like that. I really do. Who knows where it's going to go? Let's just enjoy the moment. There's no point looking miles ahead. It's if you look too far ahead, you don't enjoy what's around you.
No, yeah, massively agree. Let's see if we can guess who this is, because I don't know. It says, I have only known you a short 2, nearly 3 years, Jack. You are far more happier in your skin, more relaxed and free, in capital letters. Who's that going to be? You have to reveal yourself, whoever you are.
Yeah, who are? Come out and say me if you've known me for 3 years.
And someone else says, it might be the same person, who knows, says, hang on, I've lost it now. No one likes Coldplay. Good call, Jack. MK also says, can you introduce me walking every day for 3 months for the hype? That's kind of cool. So MK's doing a big walking charity thing.
Yeah, of course.
There you go, MK. You need to hook up that for sure. Kirk says, that's the trick, mate, using your intuition, following your heart onwards and upwards with no compromise. Very nice. And Celeste, is that the person that's known you for?
Yes, Celeste. We met pissed on a ship between Hull and Amsterdam.
That's got to be some sort of work of some kind. Pissed on a ship. Is that
yeah, we did. We got on a ship and we met, I think, briefly the first night. And do you know what? Peter Hook, who I'm going to be supporting in October, played on this ship. And I didn't even see his set. I was pissing in bed by 9 o'clock. I started at 12. Wow. That was my problem. I missed out on so much because I was pissed as I was going to say wankered, but I just did. And I'd gone to bed early. And then we had an all-dayer with Celeste. And yeah, wow. We've both got our own journeys, me and Celeste. And I've known her, for about 3-4 years. And I am a lot happier and a lot better. Thank you, Celeste. Celeste's down in Bristol. Nice. So, yeah.
MK reckons you'd be brilliant on radio. I completely agree.
Yeah, I've got the face for radio. Cheers, MK.
Fantastic. Right, well, let's get into the book, because this is absolutely screaming out at us as something that wants to be talked about. Woo! Here we go. Oh, it's the opposite way, isn't it? I think I've got a little merch sticker in here somewhere. I'm trying to find it. Oh, it's lost itself, but I have got it signed from book launch day.
There we go.
Also, the lovely Esther signed it, and Phil, your amazing illustrator, who's in the group as well, I think, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
He friended me the other day. Tell us about the book. It's called Talking Myself Out of Trouble. Give us some background. Tell us, all about it.
The name came from, I came up with that in January this year. There was no sign of us getting out and performing apart from a few things on Zoom or Facebook Live. So I decided, I'd already thought about the book, but the name, literally, I started doing little talks with veterans charities, mental health charities, and it was just a quick one stop, over an hour of how I went from a lad growing up on a council estate who just loved his football, who didn't really study much at school, who joined the army, nearly got his head blown off, shot, and walked away with more scars than he cared for, and eventually had a meltdown, but picked himself up and literally started spoken word, so talked himself out of his life's troubles. That's it in a nutshell, the title. The book itself is a collection of 30 verse. It's 25 written and performed verse that I do live, and 5 lyric sheets, which is some of the words that I do when I've wrote some EPs with Sachiko, my now-to-be wife, and she's a multi-instrumentalist and all this. One of them's kind of samples and keyboards, and the other one is all her doing guitar loops, because her main instrument is guitar and effects pedals. And
I love the idea of the term multi-instrumentalist, by the way.
Yeah, well, she's
also do a nod to Sachiko, because the film she put together for your book launch was so powerful. I was sat there like,
she's somehow got guitars to sound like a didgeridoo and to be very hypnotic, and she's so clever.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, I say this on sometimes I do Zoom. If the Titanic was made out of her loop station effects pedals, it wouldn't have sunk. It's massive. It's sturdy. It's heavy. It's it's a ballast. It's brilliant, and she's this sorceress with it. She really is. She doesn't play conventional chords. She does very much experimental stuff, which I think comes from the Japanese culture of the experimental music and psychedelic side of like bands that are out there. And so yeah, she creates a lot of soundscapes and a lot of tunes for me. So I put that. So 5 of them are around that. 25 a written and mostly performed verse. So I thought when we went into lockdown, it was a project I wanted to do. A couple of people have said, have you done a book? Have you done this? And it's literally the next stage just to get up the ladder in the poetry literacy world, that if you've got a book, you're seen as being better than someone that doesn't. And I just wanted to prove it doesn't mean that. It literally means anyone can put a book together. I self-published it. It doesn't mean 2 hoots whether you're a published artist or not to me. If you can perform and you can say stuff, I'm quite happy to call you my friend. And I had a couple of knockbacks through snobbery of certain groups that asked me, oh, have you got any published work? Well, no, I've been doing it for 2 years. So I thought, F you, I'm going to write a book and then I'm going to put that on my bio and say, oh, so will you have me on your stage now? Just because I've written a book, which, to be honest, wasn't the hardest thing that I've done in my life. But they seem to see that as some sort of kudos. So I was like, yeah, go on then. I'll take you on. I'll write a book. And the next time I put a request to perform, I'll say self-published author with feedback of this and this. And if it means it'll shut you up, it'll shut you up. So I just don't like people to have this level of snobbery or this level of elitism or this level of putting barriers in front of you. I'll just jump them. You've given me a barrier. I'm just going to go over it. And that was part of it. So I thought, right, we're writing one. I had the verse written in book form, handwritten form. And then I thought, right, we're typing them up and I need to do it as illustration. I want to do something that no one has done. People have written poetry pamphlets. People have written books, storybooks, but no one that I know that or I've seen on a bookshelf has put together a chronology of their first mental health book of post-traumatic stress in a chronological sort of balanced order with supported illustration of a very dark and very brilliant nature. So I approached a couple of people and Phil was willing to get on board. So it eventually went, because we worked very sort of, it was very symbiotic working with him. It's very easy. We both have from the finished product. I think symbiotic seems to be a great word for that. It was effortless. I gave him loads of poems and he came out with this magical imagery. And I just went, mate, it's brilliant. What bits do you want to use? And I said, all. So the book went from what was going to be a smaller one to something which was over 100 pages. And I couldn't turn it down. And then when I started to self-publish and go with my mate of mine, Steve, who runs Fluid Press near me, he offered his services for nothing. And literally, he helped me embed all the font and put it all together. And I said, I can't not put it in colour because it takes away all the vibrancy, even the black and white, grey and blue stuff from what Phil's done. So we just spent more on it, putting it together and got it out there.
Do you know what? The illustrations in this, and I had the pleasure of talking to Phil on the book launch night one. They are mind-blowing. I mean, I'm just going to sort of flash them up on the camera. That's some of the sort of black and blue and white stuff, and then incredible. Oh, this is really difficult. Incredible colour, and I mean you could see on Sachiko's film and in some of the background images that you had, the detail and the emotion in them. I mean, mind-blowing stuff. He's incredibly talented and so perfect for this. Really something. And it's hard. It's going to be hard for people to see it on the camera. So you need to get the book, guys.
Yes, you do.
See it properly. How can people get the book, by the way?
They can buy it. Yeah, there's the stickers. Yeah. They can buy it from me if they go onto my website, thepigfarmer.art, or if they get me on Facebook as Leon the Pig Farmer, Twitter, Leon_pig, or Instagram, which is Leon T71. Yeah, they've all got a Leon, a pig, or a farmer in there. Or the website's good because there's a contact email address which comes through to me. Or if they want, they can go to lulu.com and order through there, but it's more expensive through Lulu because they're an American company and they take a cut. But I said this the other night when I did a podcast with my friend on Instagram. Don't buy it from what's the place called now? Amazon.
Yeah, the big A.
Yeah, please don't buy. I've refused.
There, then, yeah.
I won't spend money and give it to a trillionaire. And the reason being is the book on the internet is £15. I can sell it to you for 13 now. And out of that £13, I take a small portion. I give some to the artist, and I give a load to Emmaus, which is a homeless charity for men and women. It gives them a bed. It gives them a place to go to bed on a night. It gives them a reason to get out of bed. It gives them a trade. It gives them a postcode so they can go get work. And it's a national charity, but there's one near me in Mosley. However, if you buy one from Amazon, which I won't advise, he gives me £1.60 out of £15. And I'm very struggling then to give very much. Probably if I give 10% or 20%, I'm literally giving 16 or 20 pence to a charity rather than £2. So, yeah, Amazon might get it to you there quicker, but I'd quite happily get on the back of a donkey and bring it to you if you wanted it tomorrow.
We'll hold it to that.
Yeah, I would. I really. It's the nature of the beast. To get my name out, you've got to go to Amazon. But Lulu do that. I refused to go through, although it was cheaper, Amazon self-publishing, because I just don't like how they exploit, like Spotify does musicians. Yeah. They're very big, rich companies, and they take too much money from developing artists of whatever form. And I really don't like that.
It's such a difficult, artist, the world of artistry, I guess, is so difficult, isn't it, these days, to actually get, recognised, rewarded and appropriately for what people do. It's incredibly frustrating.
I think the problem is he tapped in at the right time with the internet of something which was developing in society, which is the need for instant gratification. And literally, you want to order something on your phone and have it knocking on the door by the time you've made your brew
what feels
or the
like
next day. Yeah. And Amazon give you that through massive stockpiling.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say that I don't use Amazon, because I do a lot.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right. It's that convenience, and
it is.
I have started to try and change my habits now and use more, like your likes of Etsy and places like that, and try, source some smaller businesses. It really takes, a bit of thought effort, I guess, to do that, and a lot of people just won't do it. Which is a blooming shame. I've got some really good stuff in the comments, by the way. I'm assuming it's Celeste who says, I mistook the singer of Space Monkeys. Space Monkeys, wow, for you. The next day I thought, he's a bit grumpy in the morning, and then you came bounding up to me in the queue for the coats to the dam. That sounds like a great story.
Yeah.
Lots of best wishes for the wedding as well. Some good. So Nadia's asked, where do we get the book? So we've done that. Kirk says, love the artwork, so damn good, magnifies the story as well. I think that's a great way to put it, actually.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, really. It's one of those, I think neither overwhelms the other. It's very well complemented, that and that's the balance that I kind of wanted. Yeah. I didn't want it to be a book of art with just a bit of word, and I didn't want it to be the Jack Horner show of just all my poetry and a couple of bits of notional art. I wanted it quite well. And if anyone does get the book, there's a few sketches that I put in there of Phil's which were just too good to leave out. Yeah. He gave me all the initial workings and ideas, so I put them as like thumbnails onto some of the pages, and they were just too good sketches not to put in the book. So I thought that they'd go well to complement some of the poetry that he didn't write or illustrate a verse about, but that they were good ideas. So they needed to go on as well,
isn't there?
Yeah.
And do you know, it's the detail, actually, because it's even the font. Even the font is cool. It just works really well.
I was going with a different font, and the guy who helped me, who's like into digital marketing and advertising, he went, "You are not." And I'm not going to mention the font I was going to use, but I liked it. But he went, "I'll get you a font," and he got me a 1940s vintage American typewriter font. And I saw it, and I went, "Why didn't I think of that? That's just brilliant."
It is fabulous. It really is, because it fits in like typewriter.
Yeah,
some of the letters are heavier onto.
Yeah, and it is. It's like that. It's very much. It's like me. I like all old and vintage stuff. I'm still mostly analog. I had to send you a message. How am I doing this? What do I do? monkey see, monkey
I
do.
nearly sent a pigeon for you.
Yeah, that's it. Just tell me what buttons to press because I need it. I really do. So with that, he basically sent me this font through, and I just had to use it. So
amazing. It's so good.
yeah,
Lisa's saying, what was the one you chose? Was it Comic Sans?
it was probably something like that. Yeah.
What else was I going to ask you? Oh, right. So let's talk about the book launch weekend because that was amazing.
Yeah. Oh,
nice
I love
to get
that.
the first one. What was superb about it was how you really put a beautiful spotlight on, you know, some amazing acts that we saw, and you know, I didn't get to see the second night, but you live streamed it, didn't you?
Yeah.
And it was just such a real wonderful collection of artists and different styles. That was really interesting. Tell us more about all of that for you and how, you know, how it happened, how it felt, what you experienced.
I got approached to do a book launch locally in the town because they were looking at setting up an arts and music festival. So I accepted because it was more accessible for local people, friends that I know that supported me. The venue ended up changing 10 days before, which I think worked well because of things that were going on. So the venue changed, but the lads at Wet Lemon Productions and Old Bank Studios, who I'd been working with doing little videos and promotional stuff, got behind it. And it was above an old bank. It was in a little room of like what would have been an upstairs house. And it was in a photography studio. So we COVIDly compliant crammed 30 to 40 people in each day with a pop-up bar and a couple of rooms off, one for an art gallery and one for a photography studio and live streaming room. And we had a ball. I cleverly curated, which I did, the people that I got involved because I wanted a diverse group of people that I've met along the way. Because since I've started this journey, certain people in my life have fallen away because I think I'm not a clown jester and drinking buffoon, which I was, and other things in my life. And I don't spend my life around the pubs all the time. And I've turned to performance, which some people may see me as being a bit flouncy. I don't know. But anyway, we move on. And your life, as my therapist said, your life's a journey. Some people get on, some people get off.
Yeah.
And I've met a lot of beautiful people, honest, heartwarming, creative people since I started this. And I wanted to bring people along that would give it diversity, would give it honesty, and would give it entertainment. And I had, the night you were there, I had Esther, who is brilliant, who was at the first spoken word I ever went to, and Carl, who put an arm around me when I first started, who's very a dry, deadpan man, and my friend Ben, who was on guitar, who's in a brilliant band, punk band called the Battery Farm. And I've known Ben for years, although we didn't know him, knew each other for years, when he was in his first band, which I loved, and I kept pressing him to play a song from a band called the Madding Crowd. And I had those that night. And the following night, I had my friend Tonka Bell and Lol, two girls that came from the Saying Night, both mad, tattooed up to the eyeballs, pierced, green-haired, goddesses, one younger, one older, and they were mental, and they gave us their story on mental health, as well as did Ashiku, who's a great lad who battles with autism, and he's a very good creative person who does more rapping style stuff and anything that's influenced by rap, Star Wars, superheroes, or wrestling. And he's cracking. And he's brilliant. He's opening up a cafe in town where the old Nexus Art Cafe was. So when details come out, I will be pushing that venue because it's all in the aid of autism and other people to be creative. And I had my friends Tommy Murphy and Jamie on as well, a couple of duo lads who were brilliant on acoustics, doing their bit, who've both had their own journeys. So everyone has a story to tell, and everyone's got a backstory, and everyone's fighting the demons in their own little ways, or their own prejudices against them for the way they look or the way they are. And they're the sort of people that I think need to be given a stage and to spread their words or lyrics.
It was a really, really amazing collection. You know, even just that one night that we saw was just a beautiful blend of different, like you say, stories and background. And Esther was fascinating.
Oh, she's unbelievable. She's so clever. Yeah, and it's no surprise she's done stuff for the BBC. She's just...
Yeah, of course, yeah. And then Carl, who I think is still in the group, we see him pop up here and there.
Yeah.
Just so funny.
Oh, he is.
He's Mrs. Heckling.
Yeah.
She was fantastic. And then, you know, Ben's like, I sat there watching Ben, like, thinking he feels things so deeply, like intense, like amazing work. It was just fascinating. But I know the whole, you know, building, the venue choice was tricky at times, but it was so perfect. That building was just beautiful.
I think it was. It was brilliant. And I love doing it there. And I'm going to do a lot more stuff with those lads.
Good.
I am doing one, which will be a good time to plug it, on the 8th of August, just up the road. There was a girl that came on the Sunday, a girl called Fire, and she works for Time to Talk mental health hub in Manchester. Her and Vanessa.
What's her name?
She's called Fire Hooner Sawyer Hartley. 2 double barrel names.
I know her, you know.
Do you?
Yeah. I
Small
trained
girl,
her.
blonde hair, very
Pixie
quirky.
Hair.
Pardon?
Yeah. Pixie hair.
Pixie hair. Yeah.
Fyre.
F-Y-E-R, I think.
Or yeah.
Like,
I know her.
Hyphen Hooner, surname Sawyer hyphen Hartley.
That's so cool. I know her.
Dear, she just moved to Manchester last year, and she does a lot of videography, and I got to know her through Vanessa on LinkedIn. I did a podcast with them. I'm going to do a documentary. I've put them in touch with this venue. It's how I like to work. It's like collaboration, not competition. I hate when someone tries to piss on your chips or doesn't like what you do because you're succeeding. If I'm succeeding, I'll drag you along with me, or I'll give you a leg up. Likewise, if it's me that's falling, I want you to pick me up and bring me along with you. So there's none of this. I'd rather collaborate with loads of people, whether it be charities, whether it be people that run promotion or organisation companies. And if you've got an holistic sort of organic outlook on life, I'm quite happy to do loads of work with you. So on the back of that, she just approached and wanted to do stuff. My friend, who's a chairman at Mosley semi-professional lower league football club, said, we've got a venue for 100 people or COVID 60. We're driving mental health. How about we all do stuff together? So we've kind of formed this. You can't call it Holy Trinity now because there's 4 facets to this. There's Wet Lemon of the bank who are doing all the sound. You've got me. You've got Fire because it's for Time to Talk, what we're going to raise money for. And then it's with a football club. So we're going to open the doors at 2 p.m. And rather than 2 or 3 poets and 1 musician, for a tenner, I'm putting on 4 musicians, 1 band, and 10 poets. So, yeah.
That's so cool. And when's that?
The 8th of August at Mosley Football Club. And I'm calling it, because it's at a football club, I'm calling it Mark My Words.
Ooh, nice.
And it's a tale of 2 halves. Because there's literally, I like the balance of stripped back, organic, really good music with the word, so we both get a go. Because I've been turned down for gigs because I don't have music in the background. So because I'm a spoken worder who just speaks. Oh, are you a band as well? Yeah, I do. Yeah, but you only talk, so you can't come on a music gig. I'm like, right, okay, then does that detract away from my art? And it's fucking man. Anyway. Yeah, so that's another reason. Whenever I do poetry nights that I'm promoting or organising, I will always have music on because I won't take away music from the word. I think they work brilliantly together.
It really does.
So I just do what people have turned me down for. And I thought, right, if you're not going to have me, I'm going to create my own night where we can have
some inspiration.
Yeah.
Too right.
I don't believe it putting people into pigeonholes and boxes. It's like, not right.
Well,
I think everyone can work together.
All for that. We're all for blooming getting out of the box, chucking away the box. Let's not even look at the box. So who are your heroes then, Jack? Who are the people that inspire you, that you look up to most in life? That we might know or not know? Your mum. You did a beautiful performance dedicated to your mum, didn't you?
My mum went through a lot. A love of her life at 7 knobbed off after gambling and drinking and beating her up. And she survived on a council estate in the 70s. Basically, the stigma, the first woman to be a single mum and putting us through free school meals and putting us into some hand-me-down cousin's clothes or and spinning a job in a garage, a cleaning job and all that, which comes out in a poem of mine. And it made me the person I was and my sister. And then when she met my stepdad, things went on for the better. But she had a tough life when she was younger with my dad and splitting up as we were growing up as adolescent petulant, especially me as a petulant teenager, pre and post pubescent when she had me on her own. I can't have been an easy person to handle. So she did a brilliant job. So I admire people like her. I admire people in this world that have. She always had an open door. There was always someone sleeping on our couch, whether it be someone who'd got kicked out of their house, a relative that had nowhere to go. She literally had a place. Her house was in open arms, and I carry that philosophy on as well all my life. So yeah, that's why I always say Elizabeth, my queen, and Dennis is a menace in the poem that I do. But yeah, I'd say she is. I don't kind of put famous people on pedestals. I don't think it's right to put, and I admire someone like that. I think it's good to aspire to be like them, but not to. There's people in real life that are doing a lot more. There's people that are handing out food parcels, that people that are putting clothes on people. They're the people I admire in their own time. My mate Steve, who's a postman in Middleton, who raises thousands a week for homeless around Middleton and food banks and football cards, as well as being a postman. He's a person I admire. It's like, because he does stuff. It's like the automatic thing would be to say is Jim Morrison, because I love his spoken word. I love his music of The Doors, but that would be just pretentious. It would be just me name checking an artist who I think's brilliant and who's cool, although he is. And other people do that. And other people like that. There is a lot of good famous people out there, but it's the people day in, day out in this world that drag themselves out of bed and not only hold down a full-time job, but then go and help other people in the spare time. They're people I really admire. So
and going back to your mum, it was so nice to see how quite clearly very proud she was of you. You know, there was like this palpable sort of love in the air between the two of you when you did the Dennis the Menace thing, and it was Dennis is a Menace. Is that what it was? And it was just it was so emotional, and she was just like like so proud of you. It was really beautiful.
It's really weird. It's like when she was away the weekend that I woke up in the police cell. She'd been away for the weekend, and when she came back, I'd been quiet, and she always knows when there's something wrong, but they were always there when I got malaria and when I had the bad incidents in Angola. They were phoning me up, and they'd always been supportive, but they've been very busy people in their lives. That they ran pubs up until late on in life, and they've only just retired, and they're starting to kick back in the 70s, but they've always been busy and old in a house with 4 kids. My 2 stepbrothers from my stepdad's side who were together because my stepdad had 2 kids, his wife died. So from the ages of 7 and 9, my 2 stepbrothers lived with us, and who I call my brothers. There's no step in it. There's no step in my dad's name. It's he stepped up, and we're just family. And she's kept a good family going, and she said everything happens for a reason. And it's one of those things, yeah, all right, yeah, everyone says that. Stop trying to make me feel better. But literally it did, and she was very supportive and always has been, and during this time. And it's only right when I write something about her that it gets the pride of one of the last ones I do.
Beautiful.
But yeah, so I know she's probably not rich. She's not even watching this, because I know my dad's just tried phoning me up on a messenger thing, and I've had to switch it off. So they're clearly not watching.
I'll send you a link to it.
Oh, they've gone, hey, do you know you're on the telly tonight? Do you know you're on that box-like thing? Because we've got Facebook up. You're on that Facebook tonight. Yeah, I know I am. It's live. That's why it says live in the corner.
That is just brilliant. Shout out.
Yeah, so I'll get him to watch it on catch-up. So, Mum, don't phone me halfway through. You're always on Facebook. You should have seen what was going on tonight. Where are you? Thought I was your favourite son. Come on, step up.
That's so funny. Oh God, Kirk's put it's either music complements the words or the words distract from the music, or vice versa. I've not stopped smiling and laughing through this interview. Well, I'm so glad, Kirk. That's what it's all about. Really.
Of course it is, mate. You've got to have a smile on your face, pal. I'll tell you what, if there's a problem in life, I'll talk or speak about it, and I'm not shy at coming like forwards. Do you know what I mean? So it's Yorkshireman, isn't it? It's
too right. God, yeah. So what's next then for you? What's going on? I mean, we know we've got a very important occasion coming up, haven't we?
Well, yeah, I get married a week tomorrow. Just obviously Sachiko, she's over here now. We go through all those hurdles and hoops of doing a visa application to prove we love each other and that we're not just an internet sensation. Yeah, it's about proving that you live in the same house and all that. So we've been getting all the paperwork together, but I'm still planning gigs. I'm still taking on gigs through the summer if we're allowed, or even in distant social contact. I'm not going to hold back. If there's a room that'll have 30-40%, I'll come and natter on. So I'm planning gigs through the summer. I've got some big ones coming up in the autumn. I've told everyone I'm not doing anything in September and half of October because I'm hopefully going to be in Japan if they'll let me in the country. But at the moment, they were sensible. They're still a year on. Don't let anyone in. And surprisingly, hardly anyone's died. But that's another story. Yeah, let's not get into Boris about that, will we? Yeah, they shut the borders a year and a half ago. And funnily enough, there's about less than 10% people have died there than what we've got. But, oh well.
Well, it'd be interesting when we got to get off this, to find out how the world may
let's go see what the food's
by
done.
4 weeks or whatever.
But yeah, it's literally gigging, getting that back on track because I've missed a year of it. It feels ages, but I've only been going at this 2 years, so I really want to just get the name back out there and get people to book me up outside Manchester or the Northwest. Because I'll be getting claustrophobic within these northwestern walls soon. I need to get down south or move out a little bit. I've got a new camper van, so I can come and kip over wherever you are in the country. Find your pub, find a gig venue, come and say, hey, I know this gobby lad up north. He'll come down and shout at your venue for you. He's cheap. And he'll kip outside as well. Yeah.
That's really cool though, that the thought of just being able to like tour around and do the thing that you love, that and that other people love too, is just a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
so let's make it happen. Let's get Jack all over the country and
let's get me in. I've got a box of books in here, so that people don't have to buy off Amazon. I'll come down and flog you and talk to you and put on a show. If you like swearing in an angry man, come on, be right. Who smiles at the end? Who always smiles at the end?
Someone, is it Celeste is saying, get to Brazil, the both of you.
I've always said to Celeste, she knows a few people in cafes on the music scene down there. Talk to someone, get me a book launch, get me a gig on, and I will come down.
Amazing. Oh God, do you know what? This is just so good to get you on here and talking about all the stuff that. Oh, it's exciting. What else? What else can we share with the audience in our remaining couple of minutes that will send them on their way with some words of wisdom or something like that, do you think, from the words of Jack? Do you want to do as a poem, maybe?
I could do your poem. I'll do one. I'll do a double-barreled one, and it's literally about just not backing down. If anyone bullies you online or anywhere, stand up to them. Be yourself. That's what this group's about as well. Just wear your own skin. Just be happy in it. Find a way of being happy. Just do not care if someone's worried about your garden. I've wrote a poem about it, but I need to write it up about how I love my garden, how I love the birds singing, how I love my decking that's shit. It needs to be clean. How I love the mad wind and the rain that comes through. I never bother looking at your shit unwatered astroturf and your crappy little shed. If you're looking over the fence looking at what my garden's about, you need to spend more time sorting your own garden out. So knob off, mate.
What a metaphor for life.
It is, isn't it? You go worry about watering your shit astroturf because you're false. So I will worry about the bees and the birds. And I said bees and birds, they're not birds and bees. And anything that's in my lovely flowered garden with my lovely new pergola and shitty decking, which needs a staining. But I know that. So I'm not perfect. And there is bits which need improvement. But that's my problem, not yours. Go back to your shit astroturf. Go water it and all. And that is literally the cusp of what this new poem is going to be about. But I was stuck to an hour. I'm just going to do a poem then. Right.
Please do.
The beast has fled the flaming forest, its eyes ablaze from a life so torrid. There was no option but to smash your glass and raise alarms from a painful past. Were you caught in a trap without limbs tied? A poisoned dart what suppressed the cries. A pause and padlock left inside. Where inside? We're deep inside. I forgot it.
Oh, I was just thinking, how does he do this? Like,
I know. The beast has fled the flaming forest. Its eyes ablaze from a life so torrid. No option but to smash the glass and raise alarms from a painful past. I was caught in a trap without limbs tied. A golden padlock suppressed his pride. No pracropod to purge him, poison caught, no evolution or lessons learned. You see, your skull can hide in your bed of bracken. Are you capable of letting justice happen? Search your soul with more than a cheap frisk. You want to search this game? Have you a chest to risk? You see, sanctuary was sought in a dusty plain. It's a desperate desert in a dying game. The balance of power will shift to prey. So always stand your ground and revert in a lane. See, there's no shark's fin to raise alarms, no hyena's laugh to praise or charm. If surprise comes, there will be a chase. It's agility versus power on your undulating course. So I headed to the hills in survival migration. You cowered in a cage of ethical hibernation. I escaped my cauldron with skin of teeth, with no remorse or guilt. I don't know how you sleep. You see, my beast is tame in a harness of hate, and the only roar is to your hunter's bait. You see, my chameleon's colours never correspond to the fiery furnace where you belong. Is that all right?
Oh, I just bloody love it.
Dear, I'll give you one more. My heart is now presented without a black and tortured soul, and I'm instructing Lucifer to go on, piss off home. I'll unhinge, remove myself from the ebony cross. I'll extract those needles one by one, and my hands are held aloft. So come on then, Diablo, let your dog off the leash. I'll stare into its gaping jaws, and I'll break its pissing teeth. Black sheep fingers burn, still placed on a trigger. You see, you're a darkened silhouette, and I'm a lonely standing figure. I see you there, old Nick. See, I'm not afraid of this. I'm going to grip you. I'm going to choke you. I'm going to silence your snake hiss. I'll escort you from the party and vanquish you because it's my life. And if you think you can extinguish my candle in the night, so come on then, darkened prince. You think you can shine brighter? I'm the fierce dog now. I'm a battler and I'm a fighter. And I will not be imprisoned or suffer in a golden silence. Those cemetery gates, they're ripped open and I'm going to dance without a shyness. So you're sitting there now, Baphomet. You've played your final ace. I'm healing. You're deceiving. Now I spit in your fucking face. Thank you. That was Leon the Pig Farmer.
Oh, the goosebumps. I can feel it here. It's amazing.
I can't believe I messed that first one up the first time. I did one, the first two verses of one, and then I went into another verse of a totally different poem, and I went, where am I going with this?
Don't know that.
I do. I'm too honest. I went, I've got it wrong.
Do you know what? That makes it, in some ways, that's just, it's life, isn't it? That's how life is, you know. It goes a bit wrong sometimes.
It does, and it's like I said, it's that rabbit hole. I could have gone down that Poems Avenue, but I knew there was going to be a lot of effing and jeffing going on because it's only a new one that I've written. And I went, why have I? It's only because I've just learned that one. I've just suddenly gone into that rather than doing the one that's in the book and in my head.
Oh, it's like how you contain that. I mean, I know it's your own work and it's from the fibre of you, but just contain that as it is. It's amazing. Kirk said, "Fuck me, goosebumps." I don't often swear on live, so that was quite therapeutic.
Was it not? Oh, it's a bit different, isn't it? Remember that first time we saw you got that pig farmer lad on, didn't you? Go pot him out.
Oh God, Jack, I can't think of a better way to round up this interview, and I cannot tell you how much I've enjoyed this. And I know for a fact that the people who are out there now who are watching it with us live have massively enjoyed it, and they will do on the replay too. So for those of you watching on the replay, please please put a little comment in. And where are we getting hold of this? What's the website address again? That's not Amazon.
We can get it from technology in this house. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what's that pro? I'm going to waffle on. I always do. It's like the generation game. Yeah. Cuddly toy. Pig Farmer's book. Yeah. Pots and pans. I remember Pig Farmer's book.
Towels.
Yeah. Towels. Yeah. Speedboat. No. Pig Farmer's book. Cuddly toy. Yeah. There's always a cuddly toy. There'll be a Pig Farmer's book in there. Right. You can get it from me on any social media that's got Leon the Pig Farmer in there. I do most of it on Facebook, but there is Instagram, Leon TPF71, Leon_pig on Twitter. If there's a message facility, come and get me. www.thepigfarmer.art is my website, which has a contact bit on the merch page, and you can get it off lulu.com. They sell it for a bit more expensive, or you can get it from Amazon.
Yeah. And if we don't buy it from Amazon, it supports Emmaus, right?
It does. It supports Emmaus UK, but there is this branch in Mosley, which I purposely give the money to. It's a massive big warehouse. If anyone does live in Greater Manchester or near, it's a big second-hand superstore. Loads. Everyone donates good furniture, sofas, everything. Top floor is bric-a-brac or antiques or other furniture. There's a cafe there, and there's a bookshop, and there's a music part. It's just anything you want. If you can't find it in there, you've got to go to Amazon, unfortunately. But it's got everything on. You can buy clothes, vintage clothes shop, and they literally help.
Wow.
It used to be for men, but it does help women now, and it gives them a bed and a reason to get out of bed. And that's their motto, which is brilliant. And they give people a trade and a postcode, and they deliver or they pick up anything you don't need, and they will upcycle and flog it. They're brilliant. They really are.
And we need to use the term bric-a-brac more in life. Where's that gone?
Where has bric-a-brac gone?
It's just a beautiful word or term. Didn't there used to be a kids program called Bric-a-Brac? Do you remember that?
I don't know.
Sure there was. I'm going to have to find it out and post it in the group. Amazing, Jack. Thank you so much. We'll stay on for a minute after we go sort of unlive, if that makes sense. But guys, genuinely go out and get the book, because it's just freaking phenomenal. And go to the gig dates. You will not regret it. If you think the stuff that you've seen tonight of Jack is good, and you think the videos he drops in are good, you have got no idea how much gooderer it is actually there live.
That's a word that don't get used much. Gooderer.
Because not a word.
Yeah.
Don't use it in your poems, because you'll ruin your street cred totally, your credibility. Well, thank you so much. And thank you
very much for having me. And thank you everyone who's been doing the messaging and answering. And if you have any more questions, put them on this feed, and I'll honestly answer them. Like I said, I'm an open book. I've gone through life too long lying and hiding facts of my life, and it caused me a lot of trouble. So I decided not to do that anymore, and try and help other people. If my journey can help people, then why not? Just
absolutely fantastic.
I'll tell you.
And I just want to say a public thank you as well to you for being such an unbelievably important part of this community as well. I honestly can't thank you enough.
Thanks. I love it. It's got into a bit of an addictive habit, waking up on a Wednesday and trying to find something to do that I've not got in my head and what I cannot mess up. So,
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, everybody out there, good night. Have a wonderful evening and
thank you very much.
Wonderful rest of the week. And we will see you all soon. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
There we go.